I want to share this video with you because it shows a woman who bought into the idea of an African utopia, and she moved to Ghana just to find out that it was not what she expected. And so I want to share this video because it shows a very important lesson about expectations and reality, and also why I don't see myself the same as other people simply because we share a somewhat similar skin color or even have ancestors who come from the same place. So here we go.
There are Americans coming over here being nasty, doing nasty things, and being bad to the locals. Now, let me flip the script, okay? Let's talk about the fact that we get abused over here, too. The thing about Ghana is stop crying victim. Stop crying victim, because y'all cheat us out of a lot of stuff. Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Tabby, till I came to Ghana. Okay, y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Starting from the before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 US because I only had hundreds, because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said, $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere. I ain't never went nowhere in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada where it said you pay, if you a local, if you're from here, you pay $3 for a Coca-Cola, but if you're a foreigner, you pay $8 for a Coca-Cola. I ain't never seen that nowhere except Ghana. Nobody in the airport has ever asked me for no money for nothing. I have only seen that in Ghana. Now let's talk about the fact that y'all welcomed us home and how this process looks to me. According to y'all, the ones of us that were stolen, so let's talk about the process of coming home. We got stolen from our mother, our birth mother and father. 20 years later, we're probably 26 years old now. Our mother finds us and she said, baby, y'all come home. I miss you. Come back home. Get out them streets where they don't love you at and come home. So we drive, take a taxi, however we get to our mother's address. We get there. But before she let us come to the door, she says, oh, welcome home. But before you come in, can you pay me $300 to enter the door? That's the visa to come home. So, okay, we happy to be home. So we paid $300 to our mother to step foot in her house because we're excited to be home to the motherland, okay? We get in there and now it's dinner time. And she has plates on the table for the kids that grew up in the house. And she has a plate on the table for me and my sister who was stolen years ago. And she says, oh, my daughters, because you didn't grow up here, my children get to eat free that grew up here. But because you were stolen and you're just coming back, I have to charge you $20 for a plate. So me and my sister, we're so happy to be home. We're confused. We pay her $20 for a plate. Okay. That's the cocoon shit. That's y'all giving us different prices for shit. Okay. Now we're at our mother's house and we're enjoying being there. We see something's a little weird, but we enjoy being back home with our mother. We decide we want to stay. And she goes, oh, you want to stay a little longer? You're going to have to pay me $1,000 every year to stay here. That's the residency. Now we're paying her for residency, even though she invited us home after we were stolen from her. Okay. Now we pay the residency, and then we decide, you know what, we want to get on the birth certificate. We kind of like it here. It's a little weird, but we comfortable enough to stay here. And she tells us, oh, in order for you to stay here, I have to put my name on your birth certificate. That's going to be $3,000 each, please. And then I will put your name on the birth certificate, and you will become a family member. That's the citizenship. That's the citizenship. So how are we home if we got to pay y'all? Why aren't the visas free if this is home? Why don't you make this visa free for us? If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
That's because many of them don't see you as their people. They try to get people to move to Ghana, not back to Ghana. That's because the Black American folks, they're not from there, right? They're from America. They're born and raised in America. But many of their ancestors, hundreds of years ago, they may have been from there. But people have to understand that there's a big difference between themselves as a person who's living in the flesh today and their ancestors who were people who were living hundreds of years ago. Because anyone who traces their ancestral lineage back far enough, they're going to end up finding ancestors that come from the continent of Africa, right? That's everybody out there, at least according to what science shows us today. But at some point they moved on, right? After they left the continent, they developed different cultures, different languages, different customs, right? Different ways of thinking, right? And they became something else. And that something else would have been largely unrelatable to the same people who remained on the continent of Africa, right? And that's just the story of humanity as a whole. And it's no different for the people who call themselves Black Americans. They became something completely different over time. And that's why, as she said in the video, that they call the Black Americans foreigners, right? A foreigner is just someone who's an alien or is someone who's not from that area. And so the Ghanaians, they're in their right mind when they call the Black Americans foreigners, because that's exactly what they are, right? What else do you want them to say, right? That's what they are. They're foreigners. They're not from that area. And so some of their ancestors hundreds of years ago may not have been foreigners, but the people living today are, right? And so understand the difference, because she didn't know that she would be looked at as a foreigner by those Ghanaian people, just like they look at the whites and just like they look at the Chinese people as foreigners, right? And so most of those Africans on the continent, they have not bought into the idea of the African utopia, right? Like some of the Black Americans have, right? They've been sold that idea. So I understand why she would be shocked when she went over there and she had those experiences. And so there are also many other Black Americans who have moved over to Africa and have had similar experiences that have shocked them, right? Now, is it the same for all Black Americans who go over there to Ghana or who move to any of these other African countries? No, it's not. It depends on who you know and how well acquainted you are with the culture of those people. And so, for example, my wife's parents, they're very much into the idea of Africa. And they've been going over there for many years, and they've been many times. But over those years, they have mingled with the people, right? And they've learned the culture, which has made them many strong connections with some of the local people. And so it works for some people when they understand that the culture is the key, not skin color or ancestry. Because although I had many ancestors that were from the African continent, I, the person living right here in the flesh and talking to you on the camera, do not share the same culture as they do, right? I don't share the same culture. So when I visit countries like Nigeria and Ghana coming up within the next year or two, I expect to be looked at and treated like a foreigner, right? I'm expecting to get overcharged. I'm expected to get hustled in the same way that I expect that when I go to some of these other countries, right? What I'm not expecting is to walk off the plane and see people holding signs saying welcome home, right? Another thing that I'm not expecting is to walk around and be welcomed by everyone and all the local people, right? They don't know who I am. I don't look like them. I don't talk like them. I dress different, right? And I'm not from there, right? And just think about it from the context of America. The people who identify as black people, they can't even go to other black neighborhoods and just walk in and get accepted unless they know someone in that community, right? And they're culturally compatible with those people in that community, right? You're not going to just walk into any black neighborhood and just be like, I'm right here, and expect the people to just come in and accept you because you call yourself a black person, right? We all know that that's not how it works. That's why you don't see blacks who are considered nerdy hanging out with the typical ghetto inner city blacks, right? Those two do not culturally mesh with each other. So don't fall for these utopias. We have to do like humans have always done throughout history before the European colonists sold people on the idea of race, and that's get with people who have the same values, same culture, and same mindset. And that's regardless of the skin color, right? That shouldn't be taken into consideration. And so one of the cultural values that we have as Earpoys, people of the free world, is education. We value education. And so we push ourselves and we push our children to be knowledgeable and to be informed citizens wherever they find themselves throughout the entire world, right? But for us to do this, we can't be people with those who promote ideas that reading, learning hard topics, and critically thinking are for white people, right? That mindset is against our cultural values, and we can't have that. Now, people, they can have that mindset if that's what they want to do. They just have to stay over there with other people who have that same type of mindset too, right? And they can keep that as part of their culture, right? Because we're not buying into the idea of race and these utopian ideas, because we know that those don't work, right? That's not the reality of it. And so hopefully you've got something out of this video, and we appreciate the woman in this video for sharing her experience and teaching us a very valuable lesson, right? And so I want to thank you for watching all the way until the end. My name is Brooklyn St. Michael, and I'll see you in the free world.